Hello everyone, my name is Bria DeVals, and today I'll be talking to you about accepting interracial adoption, why it's such a controversial issue, and the different stances on the topic. In Project 2, my stance was accepting interracial adoption, meaning I was for the process. My thesis is interracial adoption benefits both the children and families involved and needs to be accepted by the world. And for those who don't know, interracial adoption is the act of placing a child of one race with adoptive parents of another race. And the three major points that I talked about in this essay include that children experience diversity, unique experiences, and show appreciation of other cultures. Also, this process gives children a loving home, the support that they need, and a stable environment for them to grow up in. As we all know, family is foundation, and that's important in helping a child develop. Also, this process prevents children from spending many years in the foster care system. Instead of focusing on race matching, it's important to focus more on finding people who are willing and genuinely helping the child thrive, instead of focusing on what they look like and what they have in common with the child. And I have a piece of evidence from the Child Welfare Information Gateway that I used in Project 2 as well. And to summarize what this quote is discussing and explaining to us, is talking about the importance of talking about race with interracially adopted children. Educating a child about who they are gives them a sense of identity. When they have already lost so much, it's important to share this with them. And being open to talk about race and knowing that it's not just a topic to be left alone. Race does matter. You can't knock that away. It does matter. And also, this gives that person the preparation they need to stand up in the face of ignorance, bias, or adversity. Also, here's another piece of evidence from my Project 2 from What Are the Negatives of Foster Care. And this just basically expresses the importance of building an attachment with the child, the importance of discussing race, providing a secure home and a loving environment for that child, and meeting the needs a child needs to thrive. And instability creates more trauma in their lives. They already experience so much by going through the foster care system and losing their family and losing connection to what they already had. It's important to build that attachment with that child. And if you don't build an attachment with that child, it's going to make it even difficult for them to build relationships in the future with other people. But it is possible for healing. If a child is given a secure and loving family, then healing is possible. All right, and in Project 3, my stance is why interracial adoption is not accepted by the world. In this essay, I discussed the opponent's viewpoint on the issue. And my thesis is opponents of interracial adoption argue that parents looking to interracially adopt are not capable of raising the children, and the child could be damaged mentally and emotionally in the process. Now that I have researched this and I did this essay myself and actually developed an opinion on it, I completely understand where the opponents are coming from and why they side with what they side with. And when I say opponents, these people include the older generations and peers of families and children involved in the adoptive process. And the 3 points that I hit in this essay include interracial families are viewed as unusual, and people see the parents as unfit due to the fact that they know nothing. They think they know nothing about that child's culture and race. All you have to do is educate yourself and respect that child's culture and race, and this will definitely help that child. It's not as if they're unfit. As long as you educate yourself and be open to learn more, then those children, those people are not unfit. And also, adoptees may face psychological consequences and other health issues. This is true when a child, this is true, it's very possible when a child is not in the right environment. When people are looking to interracially adopt, they need to educate themselves about that child and about the pros and cons that come with interracially adopting children. Yes, it's possible for a child to face depression, anxiety, and feel loneliness and lose a sense of identity when they aren't attached to where they came from and when they don't have a sense of their identity. And that's why it's important to develop that with a child and to show them a sense of their identity and surround them with people who look like them or surround them with people who are in their place, who have been there. Diversity is key as well when interracially adopting. And lastly, the children may experience racism and discrimination. This is very true. When you're with people who look nothing like you and you go around people who also look nothing like you, of course you feel like you stand out and you're viewed differently. And people can experience racism and discrimination anywhere in their life. It's just important to know, for that child to know that that's not okay and how to handle it and how to talk with their parents about it. And here's a piece of evidence that I used in Project 3 as well. And this first piece of evidence in the first bullet point Basically, it's saying that parents tend to swing low and just try to cater to children when they face issues instead of actually teaching them how to overcome these issues, as though you might say the parents are babying that child. That's what the first point is discussing. And in the second point, no one can live in an environment diverse enough or good enough to protect children from the pain of racism, which is very true, which is why it's just important to educate children on who they are and educate people on racism and what it is and how to react to it. Present reality of racial bias, that's what it's discussing. Parents of color fall victim to feeling discouraged or disheartened in the face of the ever-present reality of racial bias. That's what it's discussing in the second point. And in discovering my focus paper, I did not have a stance. I was neutral on the topic. Personally, because I didn't have a personal connection to it, I was neutral towards the topic. But I did end up siding with interracial adoption still. I was leaning towards not siding with it because I was looking at more of the cons to it, and I felt like the child was going through more struggle. But after doing my research, I feel as though I'm for interracial adoption. I'm for the process. So my final stance is my understanding of the topic deepened over the course of the semester due to my research of different stances on the issue. Different perspectives allowed me to build a better judgment on the interracial adoption. My stance has changed because all children deserve a loving home when they are brought into the world. The color of his or her skin should not deny them that. So therefore, my final stance is that I'm for interracial adoption. And throughout my research and learning and talking about critical thinking, I learned that critical thinking helps me form more informed opinions. It helps me make better decisions. It promotes creativity and improves presentation skills. It enhances problem-solving skills and has helped me understand myself and my goals. Critical thinking has helped me and will help me in my field in my major because it allows me to step back and to think about the entire problem and not just look from one opinion, my own opinion, and not judge from just that. Critical thinking makes me research and helps me understand what's going on instead of me just forming an opinion that has no evidence behind it. That's how critical thinking has helped me and how critical thinking will help me in my field or major. And this is my works cited slide. I appreciate your time and thank you for letting me present, and I hope you all enjoy it.